So let's go ahead and close our eyes if you are comfortable closing your eyes. If you're doing something, right? I say this every week, every meditation, but if you're doing something, if you are cooking or moving around or driving or whatever you're doing, you don't have to close your eyes. You can still experience this meditation. The thing about closing our eyes is it helps us to turn on our other senses, or sort of supercharge our other senses. So that's why we close our eyes, but you can certainly still breathe into the space of challenging acceptance, or painful acceptance, or joyful acceptance, or grateful acceptance, right? You might be in one of those states. Maybe right off the bat, you're like, oh yeah, that's the type of acceptance I'm feeling today, or not feeling, or I'd like to feel. So just take a note of that, and just kind of settling in, sitting tall. Maybe your feet are on the floor. If you're sitting on the ground, you have a nice straight spine. If you haven't taken a deep breath yet, I would invite you to do just that. Take a big deep breath, maybe in your nose, maybe out your mouth. Just feeling into your body today, right now. Feeling into whatever space you're in, if you're inside or if you're outside enjoying this beautiful day, experiencing whatever is present around you. So we'll start with a sense check-in. So oftentimes the sense that becomes the most prevalent, or the one that we're the most aware of the moment we close our eyes, is sound. Just taking a moment to connect with sound. You could also feel into this as listening. We are being called collectively as humans right now to really listen. To really listen to each other, especially now that a lot of us, most of us hopefully, are wearing masks to protect our community and to protect ourselves. Or for whatever reason you're wearing them. But there's a piece of us that gets covered when we do that. And so it's important that we are really listening to each other. Not to mention the speech is somewhat muffled by those masks. So really listening. We're being called to listen in so many ways. That's one way. We're being called to listen by the earth, to listen to the wind, to listen to the trees, to listen to the water, to listen to the earth itself, the ground itself. What sounds do you hear right now? They don't have to have names or labels. It might just be a receiving of a sound. How far away can you hear right now? How close? Is your breath audible? And with your eyes closed, if they are closed, usually the next sense that seems to be the most noticeable is the sense of touch or feel. You might feel the temperature of the room that you're in, or if you're outside, the temperature of the air. Perhaps noticing the temperature of your own body. Any clothing that you're wearing, the texture of the clothing against your skin, your hair. And just take a moment to feel through your body. And then perhaps start to notice smell. Does the space you're in have a smell? If you're outside, is there a smell or smells? Maybe they come and they go, they kind of waft through on the air and then move away. Perhaps you've burned some incense or a smudge stick of some kind, or maybe you have a diffuser. You can smell some of that aromatherapy. Just notice if there's any smells present where you are right now. And then finally, checking in with your sense of taste. If you're not actually eating right now, and you might be eating in this moment, and that's okay. But if you're not eating, there might just be a taste that kind of lingers in your mouth. Maybe not. You could breathe in through your mouth and taste the air. Swallow. And for those of you who are still participating in life, because that's the way it goes sometimes, your eyes are open, what do you see? What colors? How's the light? So we'll move into some breathing exercises together, some breath practice together to help just center, ground, and balance our energy into a place of receiving. Practicing acceptance is the ultimate practice of receiving. So take a moment, observe your natural breath. You could just notice how many counts you're breathing in and out, or where you feel the breath in your body. Maybe notice if the breath feels deep or shallow, long or short, fast or slow. And we'll begin to count our breath together. If it's possible for you to breathe in for a count of 6, I invite you to breathe in for a count of 6. If counting to 6 on an in-breath is just too much, then breathe in for a count of 4. So exhaling to release your breath, we're going to breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to breathe out for a count of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just breathe normally for a moment. How did that feel? If it felt a little bit stressful or anxiety inducing in any way, then you'll breathe in for 4 and you'll breathe out for 5. So let's try that, see how that feels. Exhale, release your breath. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How did that feel? So we're going to take 6 rounds of this breath together. I will count for the first 3 rounds, and then the next 3 rounds will be on your own. So whether you're breathing in for 4 or for 6, I'm going to count for 6. If you are breathing in for 4, that is wonderful. Just stay with your own count, ignoring me. And maybe you take 1 more round of breath. So beginning together by exhaling to release our breath. Inhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and just take a natural breath here. And 3 more cycles of this breath on your own. Begin when you're ready. Finishing up that final cycle of this breath together and just noticing if anything has changed for you, shifted. And we'll start our acceptance practice here with our attention still on the breath. But no need to change the breath or modify the breath in any way. Just observing the natural breath as it is in this moment for you. The breath is a full cycle of life. With each breath, there's a birth, the beginning of the breath. There's a life. There's a peak. And there's a fall. And finally, there's a total release and a death. Each breath is a full cycle. Where else do you see or feel or experience cycles in your life? Seasons, each day, each second, each minute, hour, the cycle of the moon each month, the cycle of the planet Earth, the cycle of the other planets in the sky. Archetypes and phases of our life, childhood, teenager, young adults, adults, elderly. There's cycles all around us. For today, I want you to just focus on each breath as its own cycle. Focusing on your breathing here, whatever the breath is for you right now. And before your next breath in, can you sense or notice where the desire to breathe in comes from. Where does that inclination to breathe come in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? You will always breathe until you don't breathe anymore, but you will always breathe. Your mind, your brain doesn't have to tell you. Your mind doesn't have to tell you or remind you, like brushing your teeth, to breathe. Your lungs will expand and contract, expand and contract for the rest of your human life. So where do you feel the beginning of the expansion of the inhale? Where do you feel it? Where do you notice it? Do you notice it? I'm going to hold a couple of moments of silence here for you to just explore that feeling, that inclination to breathe within yourself. What does it feel like? How does it feel? What do you notice about it? The space before the inhale. At the top of your next inhale, holding the breath in, even for just a moment, switch your attention now to the exhale and release the breath. The contraction of the lungs. And at the top of your inhales, can you sense or feel or notice or witness where the desire or the inclination to exhale begins? Observing this inquiry for a couple of moments. Noticing here that you can't have one without the other. There is no inhale without first an exhale, and there is no exhale without first an inhale. And notice if you have trouble or if it challenges you in any way to accept this. Do you accept that there is no exhale without first an inhale, and there can't be an inhale without first an exhale? One cannot exist without the other. Notice if you feel any resistance to any of that. If you feel any resistance to the breath's cohabitation of inhale and exhale, it's okay if you do. Just notice it, accept it, welcome it. So taking this observation of our breath, this observation of the inhale and exhale relying on each other both to exist. What else has a cycle in that same way? Every other cycle that you can think of only exists because every piece and every part of the cycle exists. The day only exists because the night exists. The night because the day. And in the same way, light, your light within you, your soul, your spark, your consciousness, your awareness, your presence, can only exist because your darkness, your shame, your guilt, your shadow, your resentment, your anger, only exists because of each other. Your light only exists because of your darkness. And your darkness exists because of your light. You cannot exist with one and not the other. Perhaps visualizing the yin and yang symbol, the black and the white coming together, and then there's the white dot on the black side and the black dot on the white side. This is the ultimate symbol of light and dark, light and shadow. They both exist within us at all times. And furthermore, every breath is an opportunity to release something, to let go, or to surrender, to heal a trauma, a pain, a struggle, a death. It's an opportunity for destruction, for death. And each inhale is a chance of rebirth, of renewal, stepping back into the light. And so, for the next couple of minutes, I invite you to explore the places within you that may feel darker. And with each breath, come back to the light. Exhale, release into the darkness and the shadow. Inhale back into the light. And not everything can go through quite so quickly. There are some pieces of our own shadow that take lifetimes to work through, to understand, to experience. But again, without them, our light, our high frequency, our highest good would not exist without also our lowest low. We'll sit with that for just a couple of minutes. Use the breath to keep you here in this present moment of release and rebirth, death and rebirth. Accepting the full cycle within every breath. And gently just begin to bring your attention back to your senses, to sound, to touch, temperature, sensation, texture, to smell, to taste. And when you're ready and as you like, you can blink open your eyes. Take a moment to just look around and see the light. Let the light in. So remembering that every moment, literally every present moment, because each moment is the only moment that we have, every moment is an opportunity for release, for death, and for rebirth. Thank you for practicing with me today. It is my honor. Namaste.